This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. We continue Mishna Berura Yomi. We're in Siman Tav Kuf Pei Zayin, the middle of Sif Gimel. The Mechaber said if someone hears part of a Tekias not B'chiyav and part of it B'chiyav, or if somebody told a Tekias who's Misasek, have in mind to be Moitzimi, and he just continued the blast, the Mechaber brings another day, your Ar Yotza, if he blew the amount of a Tekias in a state of Chiyav, let's say you heard part of it as a echo, let's say the Tekias was in a pit, and he's standing outside of an emtzat Tekias yatsa l'chutz, in the middle of the Tekias he went outside. Says the Mishna Yesham the Yatsa Sfar Rishon Ikar. The Ikar is the first Sfarad v'tzarach lachsav v'tkan. You have to blow again. B'yafal pikin lo yivarach alav. Nevertheless, you don't make a bracha. The sag bracha l'hakav v'yosef tov shishma bracha me'ach shelo yatsa adayin. Better to hear the bracha from someone who hasn't been yotze. V'emtzat Tekias yatsa l'chutz. The middle of the Tekias went outside. So no lemma Tekias. The Tekias went out. V'shlim al sas habar. V'nemtza sham v'chutz shamurak seifat Tekias. Comes out those who were standing outside only heard the end of the Tekias. The palga kama hisat Tekias psula. The first half was the pasal Tekias. V'mhayashir Tekias sas habar. If it was the amount of a Tekias on the edge of the bar, totally b'shnei deos hanala, it depends on the two deos above. V'adinim sham metchila kol shofar. Likewise, if you heard originally the sound of the shofar, kagan shahaya im haTekias babar. Let's say you're with the Tekias in the pit of an emtzat Tekias yatsa l'chutz. In the middle of the Tekias you went outside. V'lo shama rak kal havar, and you just heard the echo. Nami lo yatsi, also not yoytze. The be'inon shmias kol shofar kasher mitchil v'yatsof. You need the sound of the shofar, kasher shofar from beginning until end. V'kasu achroinim, the achroinim write, Tizaru kalaam, the people should be careful. Shlo lahaitzi kicha maniyam b'shas Tekias. Achroinim write, one should not be expectorating, coughing, blowing their nose during the Tekias. K'dei shishmu kol ha'kos m'chas ma'asofim, so you hear the whole blast from beginning to end. And not to bring children. Better that they should be with the women. You know why? Because women don't have to hear the shofar. Nevertheless, children that have reached the age of chinuch, it's mitzvah to bring them and keep them near you. And you should instill in them the fear of God, that they should hear the shofar blast, or not confuse the tzibor. Says the Mechaber, Siman Tav Kuf Peiches, Zman Tekias Shofar. Zman Tekias Shofar Bayoim. The Zman of blowing the shofar is during the day, v'loy b'layla, but not at night. The mitzvah is from sunrise. But if you blew from dawn, you're yotzevim. Shama mixas Tekias kodim shalom shachar. If you heard part of the Tekias before the morning, the dawn, mixas shalom shachar lo yotza. You're not yotze. Now this is interesting. Now, what about according to the opinion that it's enough to hear the end of the sound that we just read, the end of Siman Tav Kuf Pei Zayin? We'll see Hagavim Hayashir Tekias b'mashasham Bayoim, and if the amount that you heard Bayoim was long enough, that we just explained in Sif Gimel that the Ikar is Layatz and Isbar B'Siman Tav Kuf Pei Zayin Sif Gimel. Says Mishna Bayoim B'Layla. Why do you have to blow during the day? D'chsiv Yom Shua Yolachem B'im Nimshach Ad Bein Hashmashas Yiska B'li Bracha. If the shofar time extended until Bein Hashmashas, blow without bracha yatsa. Because Me'ikar Hadin, dawn is a ready day for many things, for everything, but because not everyone is proficient, and times you're going to come to advance the reading of the Megillah, the Chachamim required to wait until Nates, because that's for sure day according to everyone. So you don't need that the actual body of the sun rises up on the earth. Elamishas tchilas haneitz, from the beginning of Nates, gam kein mutar l'chachila, it's also mutar l'chachila. Says the Prima God, the Miu calls a meikar din Torah. This is all meikar hadin. Oy b'shas hadchak kagon shetzarach latzis adach chai gavna. Ava chachamim tiknu l'tkiyoi shofar b'musafin. However, this is all made in, but the meikar hadin. Let's say, or b'shas hadchak, someone has to travel, but the rabbi said they were masakin. Tekias Shofar is part of Musaf. Amr b'Gemara b'Taima. The Gemara says the reason the Shas Gzera, so there was a time of the decree Shlo Yisku Yisrael b'Shofar, that Klal Yisrael should not blow the shofar. V'hayu Arvin Lahem Kol Shei Shois Shel Zman Tefillah Shachris, and they laid an ambush for them for the first 6 hours of the morning. Lachein heavy rule at Kabbalah Musaf, and therefore they pushed it off to blow by Musaf, which is very interesting. The Shatzion writes, quoting Toysus in the Arzarua, that even though the Shmat is batal, we don't go back to the original takana blowing in the morning, even though Zuz Makdim Mitzvos, because we're choishesh, maybe the matter will revert back to the way it was. Okay, now let us continue. Mitam Zanir, they don't go some Yom Tov Gam Tekias to Miyushav Shloyos Min Azuz Makdim L'Skav B'Tchilas Hayom. For this reason, the minhag Yisrael is from the times of the Kanmonim that even for the Tekias to Miyushav, you don't have to blow it earlier in the day, but rather you wait to blow it near Musaf after Kriyas HaTorah. Even an individual should wait at least 3 hours to be on par at the same time in sync with the rest of the tzibur. La yatsa, you are not yoytze. In other words, if you blew miksas tkiya koidem shalom shachar miksasa achar shalom shachar lo yatsa, says the Mishnah lo yatsa the soif tkiya beloy tchila loy mahani v'loy midi. The end of a tkiya without the beginning, it doesn't help at all. The same halach would be if you heard part of it during the part of it at night. Gamkin lo yatsa the tchila beloy sev gamkin lo hamni v'loy midi chanal sham benir da fila yom shnagin l'tkel shloshim kodesh latzos yedei kol safik. Even nowadays, that the minhag is to blow 30 blasts, Shrichim Gamkein Lizar, you also have to be careful that even the first Tekias should not be even partially before the day. According to what we wrote, that the Ikr is like the first day that you have to hear the whole thing. In all circumstances, you would not be Yoitze. Now the question then would be, what if you heard the majority of the sound during the day and the end was at night? L'chayra, it would in Sif Gimel and Simon Taf Kuf Pei Zayin, we did not differentiate between whether the kashrus was in the beginning or the end. L'chayra also, it would come out that if you heard most of it during the day, even though it was a Shir Tekiya, if you heard, whatever you heard, if part of it was at night, when you would not be Yotzei. Okay, we'll hold it over here. But Hashem, continue tomorrow in Sif Beis, wishing everyone an amazing day.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.